We bring in the host of Special Report. Brett Baier is with us. Brett, thank you for being with us. I did have a conversation when you were breaking news live right here on Fox. I got some details as, again, you got on the air immediately. And the fact we had initially discussed at length and in great detail the issue of maybe 2 bunker buster bombs being needed for this Fordo facility. It ends up 6. It ends up that the Israelis had only gotten 75% of the other 2 nuclear sites that they had been attacking on a regular basis. And Tomahawk missiles, the president reporting tonight, they were totally, all 3 of them, obliterated. Incredible news. There's history tonight here.
Yeah, Sean, it's a historic night. It is. We'll see what the battle damage assessment is on the ground from Iran. But the Israelis are ecstatic. You saw that in the prime minister's statement saying that this is a pivot point, he believes, for the Middle East. The fact that there were 6 bunker buster bombs from those B-2s, 30 Tomahawk missiles from the U.S. submarines hitting the Isfahan site, the Natanz site, and Fordo. You know, we talk a lot about Fordo being the most protected, and that's where a lot of those bunker busters were focused. But the Isfahan site, believe it or not, is also really deep, I'm told from experts who have been looking at it for years, and that's where they stored the highly enriched uranium. I think there's going to be a real question about what goes forward, what happens next. I've been in contact with some of our allies, leaders in the region and other countries in the region, and one said this to me: Iran will have to respond. They have to save face. Their capabilities have been degraded, but they're not impotent. That's important to realize, that while the president is saying that this is a tremendous success and he believes they have been completely obliterated, the history will show that the Iran leadership will not go down without swinging. What that swing
Brett,
looks like,
I can add some color to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, no one could argue, I think, by any objective measure that this phase of this operation was a complete success. But there is a part 2, and they did game out all of this. And as you and I both know, there have been many, many meetings where these plans have been discussed in great detail. And part 2 of this, though, is to protect American assets on the ground in the region. And that means people, and that means specific locations. They are prepared for any retaliation. And the president was very clear, unambiguous, in his statement again tonight to the Iranians what the consequences will be if they, in fact, try to retaliate.
Yeah, and I think that that's really important because in the region, as you and I know, strength matters, and that's what talks over there. Peace through strength, but strength first. And I think that that's the signal the president was sending. If any U.S. citizen, any U.S. base, any U.S. facility comes under Iranian attack, all bets are off as far as this being a limited type of strike. And you're right, they have a lot of plans going forward if that's the case. One of the questions is, what does the opposition on the ground look like? How does this all develop? That's not something that I've heard that the U.S. is really focused on. You know, regime change, while it may be tangential, is for the Iranians to decide, much like the president delivered that speech, Sean, in Saudi Arabia, which he said, we don't want you to be our image. We want you to be your own countries, but we want to do deals with you, and we want to change the face of the Middle East and how it operates.
You know, but I think you are very wise in cautioning people, and I did this all week, and remind people that there's no such thing as a military operation that does not have great risk associated with it. You know, at the end of the president's statement tonight, it was striking when he did thank God for the safety and the safe return of our troops, and just being appreciative that it was successful. There's always risk associated with it. There's always risk of retaliation. But there is no doubt tonight the Iranians no longer are a nuclear power. There is no doubt we can say tonight that the world, I think you can say unequivocally, is a safer place. It doesn't mean they still don't have their ballistic missiles. It doesn't mean that they will retreat. It doesn't mean that they will unconditionally surrender. It doesn't mean that the American military's job is done. They will protect American assets, interests, and people that are in the region. That has been made very clear, and the president made clear the consequences. So they do so at their own peril. They didn't listen to President Trump the first time. Let's see if they learn something before they strike back or attempt to.
Yeah, I just am really struck by the operational security, Sean, of all of this. The fact that Iran really, the intelligence said, wanted to strike Israel first, and then the president came forward and said, let's negotiate, thinking there could be a possibility for a path for negotiation. But he said 60 days. On day 61, Israel attacks first, changes the dynamic, really hits them hard, takes out the surface-to-air missiles, opens the door to the possibility. All the while, the president's saying, you could get back to the negotiation table. Then he says, within 2 weeks, I'll make the decision. Well, 2 days is within 2 weeks. He wasn't lying, but it was about operational security. And when the 6 B-2 bombers go west, everybody's looking, they're covering it over there. It's look at the shiny thing. It was already in motion in the east.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I'm struck by the operational
you've got to also
security.
say, the day after the president mentioned within 2 weeks, the next day the Iranian foreign minister came out and said, nope, no interest in negotiating. That could have accelerated the timeline, but that would only be speculation on my part.
That's right. Yeah, and they have the opportunity. They had it multiple times. The foreign minister shut it down in Europe. So we'll see what comes next.
All right, Brett Baier, as always, we appreciate you being with us. And special report every weeknight, 6 Eastern, right here on the Fox News channel. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.